The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 179.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of outstanding women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out amazing blog articles and our killer resources.
Well, hello friend, welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady who's all the way from Switzerland. She is the women's tribe leader for the feminine space, and I'm just honored to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Natasha Koo. Natasha, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
So here I am, I'm Natasha, and I'm based in Zurich right now, but I was actually born in Hong Kong, ethnically Chinese, but I was raised in Canada. So for the past few years, I've been doing a lot of one-on-one work in terms of intuitive coaching and energy healing. But it was lately, especially at the end of last year, that I really got the motivation to reignite and empower women to live their feminine essence. So that's what I've been living and creating for the past few months. Pretty much a community and a space where women feel like they can put self-love first. So that's the mission I'm on right now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite quote would be, "There's no such thing as confidence. It's not something we have to reach for or try to get or try to imitate from anyone else. It is just our natural state where there is no self-doubt and where our heart and our pure intentions, pretty much we embody all these energies within our actions."
I love it. It's the first time I've actually heard about it, and it's true, right? Like it's not like something we have to go out and get. It's something that's within us, and it should naturally come as we go out there and do the things that we want. So I love the quote. Great quote, and thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence is in the absence of self-doubt. So the moment we stop questioning whether we are worth it, whether we are enough, whether we are worthy of love or not, and the moment we actually open up our hearts, not to the world, not just to the outside, but to ourselves, and let our own love fill us first, that is the beginning of self-confidence. And then, of course, once you allow love into yourself, your own energies, and it's not something you have to get from the outside, you just let it into yourself, then everything will change, including your actions, your mindset, how you interact in relationships, your projects, your passions, and what you want to achieve. So that is how I see self-confidence.
I love it, and it's a great definition, especially with women, we always doubt ourselves. The media, gives us this certain picture of what the perfect woman should look like. And really, we're all beautiful in our own way. And, we have to love ourselves first before we can attract anything that we want in our lives. Because if we can't love ourselves, how do we expect to get love from others, or how do we expect to have others come to us? So, I really love what you mentioned in on your definition of self-confidence. So thank you so much. And Natasha, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Oh, very, very interesting. A huge disconnect from my body. That would be one of the main things, one of the main blocks I see now, like looking back. And that formed because of growing up. I had so much body shaming. And so many comments from the outside, or just like input from the outside, that just told me again and again I should dress like this in order to look better, or my hips should be smaller because I'm Asian, or all these words from the outside. And when you're little, you can't help. You pretty much have no choice but to take on the beliefs or the ideas of the adults around you, or especially from the ones who you love, for example, your parents or your family. And so I really adopted other people's impression of myself, their interpretation of what beauty is. And due to all these negative associations to my body, because that's what I experienced every time I feel into my body, that just reminded me of what people said to me, because that was my association to my body. So that meant there was a negative association. So in the end, that made me completely disconnect from my body. And how can you be in your own skin, comfortable in your own skin and confident if you're not even acknowledging or feeling or connecting with your own body? So that was a huge thing. And in order to reconnect, I first had to connect with my heart and then also with my pelvic space. So my feminine body, and actually get comfortable feeling what I'm holding there and reconnecting back to who I am, both physically and also emotionally.
You know, it's crazy how like our, relatives, family, they tell us all these things on what we should look like versus what we want to look like, right? I mean, just because being Asian doesn't always mean you have to be like the thinnest person in the world. And there's nothing wrong with the body that you have now. And not a lot of people realize that your body's so connected to you, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, you weren't too connected with it. And, it takes a lot of work to realize, your body and mind have to connect together to be the person that you are today, to be your authentic self, to live life to the fullest. So, what was that aha moment in your life when you realized, you are beautiful just the way you are? You don't have to get approval from anyone else. You knew inside that, you are beautiful, and you just, got more confidence out of that.
It's interesting because maybe to another person, their aha moment could be something very inspirational. But I guess another way to go about having the aha moment is to repeat the same negative experience manifested in different forms. So different experiences of feeling unworthy or not worth it or not deserving of love, and just like in relationships or in friendships, not being appreciated, just over and over again, or even at work, the boss not appreciating you or your work or your talents, just over and over again. Life will throw you all these lemons and lessons you haven't fully taken on yet. So I had to pretty much live many, many moments like this until something clicked and something in me said, you know what, enough suffering, that's it. This is not the mindset which I want to have, and I'm ready to change it because I'm ready to end my own suffering and my own self-doubt and unworthiness. So I guess there was no particular moment, but there was just a accumulation of all these negative experiences that were pretty much at the core all the same, but happened with different people in different places at different moments of my life. And at some point, enough is enough. And so I encourage you, the listeners, to, you know what, suffering can end now. And you don't need to repeat the same experiences with whoever, maybe your partner. And you can actually change your mindset now.
Thanks for sharing that. And, I love that you said, you can end your suffering now. Not too many people realize they can change things in an instant, right? They don't have to stay in that bubble or stay in the story they've been telling themselves all their lives. They can change it anytime they want if they choose to and if they believe in themselves. So, after that, those little aha moments, what's your life been like now?
Once you feel worth it, and once you feel like that truly you're a gift and everything you do could be a gift to someone else, everything changes. There's so much power behind living your truth. And one way to describe it is like before, I really felt like I was living someone else. So being someone who I'm not, really pushing, trying to meet everyone's expectations and pleasing everyone I was under the impression that as long as I made the outside happy, I would be happy. But it's the total opposite. It actually works in reverse, in that as long as I'm content with who I am and I can forgive myself, no matter what I do, no matter how many mistakes I make, and still be loving to myself, then everything changes. Then you can go for those crazy risks or projects. You can love someone unconditionally and, not be afraid that you'll be hurt, because you feel like unworthy, or I better love him more so I can get more love back. None of these calculative kind of moments or calculative behaviors, you actually flow with what's given to you, and you flow with all the opportunities out there. So in terms of how that has how that has impacted my life, in my personal life, in my work life, and now inspiring so many women and creating a safe and loving space, and just everything has changed. Everything is special now, because once I'm worth it, every moment is worth it.
Thanks again, Natasha. And Natasha, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
The one tip would be forget everything that you think because from the beginning of time, we've been told to stop doing that, do this more, be that less, look like this, dress like that, start doing this, be like this more, be like that less. Everything from the output is trying to influence in some ways, of course, mostly with good intentions. So my advice would be forget everything. Start spending time on your own, if you can, on your own, and just feel the support that you already have. Feel the strength within you that is already there. No need to depend on some kind of meditation or go to any special workshop in order to I don't know, find out a certain place inside of you that you want to express. There's no need for that. Just begin with being with yourself, feeling your breath, feeling your body, feeling the ground, the earth underneath you, feeling the sky above you, and just know that in every moment, your heart is beating, you're breathing, it's supporting you, and so is the earth and the sky. It's like, I always feel like no matter how awful I feel, what a terrible day I have, I always feel like I'm sandwiched and I'm hugged by the earth and the sky, and I feel supported. And I have this deep feeling inside of me that all of us are supported, no matter what experience you're having right now, how bad you're feeling, whatever you're going through, you are supported, and there are resources out there. So feel loved no matter where you are. That's my tip, or at least that's my message to you.
Awesome. Those are great tips, and thanks for sharing that. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Absolutely. So I run a sisterhood, and that means a closed community of women who are supportive, loving, and we just lift each other up to be our true self. So imagine a garden where one flower is not envious of another. When one blooms, it just makes it even more beautiful, So we're there all to support each other and to share experiences. And you can request access and join this community at femininetribe.com. And another wonderful thing that I'm doing right now, which is live and sharing with women, and they're sharing too, and that is the 21-day self-love challenge. And you can get that at femininespace.com, and just look on the sidebar on the very right. There will be a pretty little sign for the 21-day self-love challenge. And I'm really excited about that, because instead of trying to figure out like, oh, how do I love myself today? What should I spend my energy on? What should I do? I'm going to walk you through 21 days worth of exercises, meditations, reflections, so that you just can be guided in your own process to love yourself more deeply. So that's my invitation to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Natasha. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Natasha, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Natasha's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Natasha for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena. You're doing a wonderful job, and thank you for spreading these stories. Stories are amazing.
You're welcome, and thanks for coming along and sharing your story as well. And to our listeners, look out for another episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for connecting with us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more.